Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another Whiteboard Wednesday. There's been a little bit of hiatus since the last one, Richard. Why is that?
Well, I've been really heavily involved with this new course, this new qualification that's been introduced into the UK recently, and it's called the Level 4 Protective Security Advisor. And for the last few months, I've been help writing and putting it all together. And I had the privilege last month, the end of last month, to actually deliver the first Level 4 Protective Security Advisor in the UK. That was the pilot. We tested and adjusted. We're going to be making some changes moving forward. September, October, it's going to be really busy with this course.
So it's been for an excellent reason. I mean, and one thing you haven't mentioned is that you wrote some of this new standard yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've been heavily involved in it since back in March. Yeah, so we writing the modules and then actually got the the honor, the privilege to deliver it last month.
Brilliant, actually. It's brilliant for all of us, actually. I think everybody on the back of that will grow as a result.
It's been looked at as this sort of the entry-level qualification for people within the security industry. So if you want to get involved in it, you want to get involved in this growth sector, organizations are going to be looking for this qualification. And if you have it, you're going to be taken a lot more seriously than those who haven't got it.
Well, okay, well, let's get back to the topic at hand. This is Whiteboard Wednesday. We're talking about security, and specifically today's topic is impact.
Yeah, so impact as part of the security risk management process. With the course, with the Level 4 PSA that I've just mentioned, this is all part of that course. Impact as part of the risk management process is all involved in this course. So anybody that wants to get a heads up and get more knowledge on the security risk management process can follow the Whiteboard Wednesday series. We're up to episode 8 now. There are 7 episodes on the YouTube channel. Follow the link into the YouTube channel. You get members of the Security Institute get 1 CPD point for each episode that they watched. I can supply a certificate for that. So it's very beneficial. For some, this will be revision. For others, it'll be a new topic, and I hope they find it beneficial. So guys, go and grab a brew, put your headphones on, and let's crack on with episode 8, Impact. Okay, so as I've mentioned previously, this is part of the security risk management process, and all the other episodes, because there's cross-reference to the other episodes, you're going to get, and I'll reference them as we go along. So today we're going to be talking about impact. Now, it's a word that you've probably heard a lot within risk management, but one that is often misunderstood. I'm going to break it down into what I think are simple terms for you. We're going to look at some real life examples and show you how understanding impact can help protect what most matters within your organization. So let's have a look at the next slide. Okay, so definitions. Those that know me by now will recognize that I like to start off every topic with a definition. We covered definitions within the risk management process in episode 1 of Whiteboard Wednesday. But here we are. Okay, so the definition: impact, the extent or harm of harm inflicted when a threat is realized. So impact happens when the threat, the danger, is able to exploit the asset's vulnerabilities. So the impact, therefore, is the consequence of a successful attack. If we look at the second point, within the calculation of risk, it's really important because it forms the one side of the risk calculation. Likelihood that we spoke about in episode 7, likelihood and impact. From that times and up of that, you can actually come up with a risk calculation. So let's have a look at the next slide. So what does it look like? If we understand how important an asset is, we should then be able to visualize, to calculate what the consequence of losing that asset looks like. And we might lose it over 24 hours, over 48 hours, or over an extended period of time. So in order to do this, we have to establish beforehand the criticality, the importance of each asset that is within our organization. Remember, and again, I spoke about assets at length within episode 2, I believe. In this episode, in episode 2, I give you ways of actually ranking the criticality of the assets. And I do it in a simplified version, okay? So a critical asset is an asset which is indispensable. An important asset, something that contributes significantly to a business operation, yeah? And the low-level assets. So those are the 3 levels of criticality that I use within the risk management process. And you have to understand where the assets, the things of value to your organization, where they fit within that criticality list. On the next slide, I'm going to give you some real life examples now of how we can actually visualize this and actually how we can actually calculate the impact. Okay. So first scenario is of a cloud storage company. Yeah. Data storage company. Turnover is around about £10 million a year, and they lose access to its customers' data for 24 hours. Okay. 24 hours. So when we look at that, there are certain things that are going to, certain variables that are going to impact massively on this particular scenario. So the losses that would incur, okay, direct revenue for losing an outage for 24 hours. We're also looking at service level agreement problems. Yeah, what are we going to do with that? How is that going to? That's going to have an actual cost value. Customer churn, customer loss, reputational damage because of what has happened, and our customers are not able to access that information. Okay, and response and recovery. So when we actually calculate all these different budget lines, we are looking, as an example for this particular company, of somewhere between 500,000 and £1 million. We can equate it to the impact, the consequence of an outage for 24 hours, for whatever reason, whether it's nefarious or not, could have an impact. Best case scenario of 500,000, worst case scenario of 1 million. And well, in fact, the worst case scenario actually would be that organization would lose its reputation and go out of business completely. When we look at example 2, when I go along to my clients and I'm doing an exercise like this, I normally equate a serious injury or a death of an employee at £1 million. An example of this is CAV Aerospace back in 2015. An employee fell through the skylight of a roof that they were working on. The fines that the company received was 600,000. The legal cost 100,000 plus. We're looking at 700,000 plus. That was back in 2015. I think we can equate that easily now to around about £1 million 10 years later. And that is not even then including prosecution under health and safety legislation, corporate manslaughter. So those are 2 real life examples of for you to use. If we'll have a look at the next slide, how can we then reduce the impact, which can have a significant effect on our business? Well, the first point I want you to consider is to understand and prioritize the assets within your organizations. We've talked about it in episode 2. Go back, have a look at it, and then come up with the criticality of each of the organizational assets. We talked about it in another episode. I believe it was episode 6, vulnerability. How is the asset vulnerable? Okay. Is it exposed to the actual dangers within your operational environment? If it is, then we need to put more strategy in place to actually protect the assets. Build resilience and redundancy. Yeah. Redundancy means having backups and alternatives in place. Duplicate systems, spare equipment, secondary data centers, multiple suppliers. Think about it. If something goes wrong, how quickly can we get something in place that that gives us that ability to carry on and function normally? And then prepare and respond effectively. Yeah, build resilience. Yeah, have these things in place. Stress tested systems, flexible processes. You need to have this, but you need to be able to think about this before the actual event happens. So those are things that you can do now to ensure that you can reduce the impact of these threats being realized within your organization. And if we go to the next slide, I just want to, in conclusion, you can't always control what goes wrong, but you can control how much it hurts. You can influence, you can manage the response. Impact isn't just financial, it includes reputation, legal liability, and long-term operational consequences. A single negligent act can trigger years of fallout, guys. It absolutely can. Or it can put you out of business. So there we are. Those are that's impact covered.
Well, I think we all learnt a lot by the fact that you need to understand what the consequences of actions are, not just simply that they've taken place. And often preparation in advance of an impact will affect the way in which you do react to it, yes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, with all things within the security risk management process, we have to be thinking about this in advance, because when things happen, then you're trying to come up with plans and processes is very, very challenging when you're running around trying to manage a crisis. And we say, can you manage a crisis? Actually, you survive a crisis. Yeah,
exactly.
You just manage getting out of it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But if you're prepared by having already thought through what the reactions will be, that means it's not really a crisis because you're prepared. And a crisis, by definition, is something that you have no preparation for at all. And as you say, you exist and you get through it and hopefully learn some lessons. Whereas if you've taken some preparatory work, you've worked out what the impact is going to be, and you put everything in place beforehand, theoretically, it will be a process rather than a crisis.
Yeah. So preparation and planning prevents poor performance. There's another P in there, but I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, indeed. Quite right. Quite right. Pretty poor performance. That's
yeah. So there we are. So this will be added to the YouTube channel in due course. Yes. And there are another 3 episodes left. We're going to be looking at risk mitigation and then monitoring and evaluation in the next 3 episodes, and then it's all done.
Wow. Well, look, guys, I hope you enjoyed it so far. I think there's a lot of great information. I'm not really in the security industry, but I'm learning a ton as I go, hopefully, as you can see. Until next time, please keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and try and look after that mental health. Bye-bye now.